My name is Linda Wagner. I live in Powell River. For the last 10 years we've been here. I was born and raised in New Westminster, so I'm a BC West Coast girl. But after my marriage to my husband 45 years ago this last month, we moved to the prairies where we were serving in a rural churches for 20 years. We moved back to Powell River in 2003 to be near our children. But in the meantime, I've had a lot of transitions in my life. I've gone from preacher's wife to business owner, and from hobby writer to published author. That was a difficult transition, and not one that I had invited into my life. It just kind of happened. In 2000, my husband's health broke, and he was no longer able to work. He's basically been unable to do much since that time. I was recovering from cancer, although the cancer itself had been taken care of by surgery earlier in the early 90s. I'd had extensive 54 chemo and radiation treatments, and I'd had several surgeries and treatments after that. So I wasn't that strong myself, and I knew then I had to become the wage earner. We lived in a parsonage, a mixed blessing, because that meant we had no home of our own. So I decided, I gave myself a week to feel sorry for myself, and it's time to get up and get at it. So I did. I turned a hobby of my writing into a business. A friend who learned of our situation mentored me. He was in upper middle management of a company in San Francisco, and he helped me transition into that company. And for 8 years, I researched and co-wrote background material for industrial stockbrokers. Since that time, I've been published in probably 40 or more publications. I write regularly for four or five business magazines, a monthly column in Country Life in BC. I have a syndicated column in a number of Saskatchewan papers. And I'm currently working on 2 books for 2 different clients. My company is called Words of Worth. In choosing that name, I tried to it took me quite a while, but I wanted to combine my spoken word and my written word. And so I put them together as Words of Worth. And later a businessman pointed out to me the applicability of that title, because it's words. That's what I deal with in whatever form, but they also bring worth, hopefully, to individuals in their particular situation, but words of worth to business people wanting to expand knowledge of their products and services. Words of Worth, my company, has a mission statement, as all companies should have, and that's to convey the meaning of a client's products, information, services to their intended audience. And my role is to do that through the power of words, to take that client's product, service, translate it into words that are meaningful to their intended audience. And so that's my goal. Whenever I write about a business, my goal is not to find weaknesses in that business or to find dirt or to do things that might be detrimental, but my goal is to make that company shine, to portray the best part of that company to their audience, honestly and with integrity, but to help that business grow. Many people, myself included, find it hard to write about ourselves. We Canadians have been conditioned to be modest and humble, and I have no problem with that. I prefer it to a braggart, personally. But we have to get our messages out. People have to know what we do well. They have to know how they can benefit by employing my services or your services, my audience's services. And it's my job to convey that to the audience. When the business owner either doesn't have time, doesn't have the ability or the inclination to write about themselves, that's where my company comes in. I can help you say it. I can help you say it well. I can help your audience understand your purpose, what you're offering, and how they can access that. Yeah, I'd like to tell you as well about my leadership qualities that have been developed. They say that the best way to polish or sharpen a knife is to rub it against a hard stone, to hone it. And some of the best lessons I've learned in life, I've learned through hardship. But what they've done has taught me leadership. And I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I've had to serve over the years, both in church but in other community nonprofit organizations. I've been involved in St. John Ambulance, branch executive. I've been on United Way board, the United Way Powell River and District. I serve on the board or the committee of the MCC Thrift Shop. I've also attained a leadership, gone up in leadership steps in Toastmasters. Gone from a newbie, as we call them, up through the ranks, and now I'm area governor for Powell River and part of Comox and Courtenay. So those leadership qualities have stood me in good stand when I've had to go through difficult times. I've learned how to take the bull by the horn and just go ahead and do it. Part of that, a lot of that journey is covered in my book, 3D Success, Changing Careers in Midlife. Now those 3 Ds are applicable whether you're changing careers or just changing direction, but because they envelop or they include 3 very important principles in everyone's life. First of all, discover your passion. When I had to go into business, I knew that writing was something I could do. I did not have the physical stamina to work at an 8-to-5 job. I didn't have the formal training for a lot of other works, but I was a proven writer and a published writer. So I discovered my passion. By going through a number of exercises that I found online, I fine-tuned that. I found, oh, this is the kind of writing I like to do. And over the years in business, I've fine-tuned that even more. I basically just do business writing now. And then after I discovered my passion, I had to develop my plan. How am I going to do this? You don't just put a shingle out in your door and say, hey guys, I'm in business. I had to find out to create a business plan, a mission statement. I had to say, what am I looking for? What are my 5-year goals? What do I want to achieve out of this? Do I want to employ other people? All those things, I had to develop those plans. I'm not a mathematician by a long shot, so one of the best things I did was hire an accountant. But I have learned you keep every receipt, you know what you're doing, you keep on top of your finances. And finally, defend your priorities. There are always going to be things that will deter you, and there are going to be times, especially when you start your business, when your work can become all-consuming, but family, friendships, relationships, those things have to remain priorities for you. You have to defend them. There's times you have to work hard to say, no, I'm going to put number 1 in number 1 place. So this book, 3D Success, Discover, Develop, and Defend, helps people who are changing careers in midlife. But I'm finding from what people are telling me that it's a great asset for a lot of other decisions that have to be made in a person's life.